Board. All right. All right, a few things. One, we are still in the beta for the dynamic registration for Wailopo. One of the reasons that I agreed to be a beta tester for this new product, frankly, is because we got extra spend at a discount because they're doing some A/B testing. And also I need to provide them with some feedback. And when you're looking at your Wailopo leads, many of them will have answers to some questions that they provided in the content of the follow-up Boston newsfeed. And a couple things that I thought were a little peculiar, and so I inquired really about what they meant was this question here that I highlighted, yes, I'd like a call if I want a tour. That didn't quite make sense to me. So I spoke to one of the representatives over there, and what she said is basically they're answering the question, if you see a home you like, meaning you liked it, do you want a call from our sales consultant to set up an appointment? And they responded, yes, I'd want a call. So it's when they like it, favor the property, that is a trigger. They've essentially given you permission to call them about that property. The alternative response is, I'm still feeling out the market, so no, I don't need a call. So anyway, that's what that weird answer means. The other thing that I noticed was I had somebody, this is actually the person that came in, and they said their preferred price range was $300,000 to $600,000. But then when I went and I looked at the dynamic search, the search was set up with an upper limit of 400. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense. They said we want 300 to 600. And this was also part of the beta test. The old version of Wailopo would set up the dynamic search based on the first property that they looked at, which is what this person did, and it was a lower priced property, so that's why it set it up that way. They do plan on changing that so that it reflects the answer that they got to the question, but that involves a lot of coding, and it's probably not going to be until sometime late in the first quarter of next year before that coding change has been made. So my advice when you get a Wailopo lead is look at the property search that was dynamically set up, and if it doesn't match what they say they're looking for, the best way to adjust to take care of that is not necessarily to go in and change the search, because when you modify the dynamic search, it's not dynamic anymore. Now it's agent defined. So the better way to do that is to go into the push listings and push, in this case, I would push the $500,000 and $600,000 homes. Then they'll click on that. The system will see, oh, they're upping their price range, and the search will change dynamically. That all make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here in the market, kind of as a year-end review. We set a lot of records this year. We set a new low for days on market. We set a new high for median. By the way, these are national numbers I'm going to show you. Set a new price, set a new record for median price, set a new record for low inventory, set a new record for low interest rates, set a new high for percentage of the market that is being absorbed by investors, and set a new high for demand of second homes. So I'm going to actually show you some charts that kind of really put this in perspective. By the way, these charts I plagiarized from Redfin, so if you're going to share them with people, you might want to give Redfin credit. But anyway, here's a look at median price of a home nationally. If we just go back, 1 year, we were down in the low 300s, and now we're up to almost $400,000. That's a huge move. And being a visual person, I like to look at graphs. Inventory levels. I mean, we only have to go back as far as pre-pandemic levels. We had close to 2.25 million units of inventory, and now we're down. We're going to finish the year at roughly 1.2. So we've lost nearly 50% of our inventory since COVID started. Average days on market. Now you can see that there is a seasonality to that. It's pretty obvious here, but we're getting lower lows and lower highs consistently year after year. And I think that these are important things to show to your customers, both buyers and sellers. When you're sitting down there with a seller and they're thinking in the back of their mind, we want to sell our house fast but not too fast. The reason that they think that is because if you bring them a sale in the first 48 hours, you underprice the house. It isn't true. They need to know that is what they should be expecting in this market. And if their property is sitting on the market for 30 or 60 days, the problem is they overprice their house. And when I'm working with sellers, with buyers, and we're talking about new listings, we need to make sure that they understand that if they sit on that decision, there's a good chance that hot new listing is not going to be available for them to buy. And this is something that you can show them to let them understand that visually. If it was back in 2019, you could sit there and say, well, I can give it a week. I can go look at a few more properties and make sure I really like it. In today's market, you're probably going to miss out on that property. To look at mortgage rates, by the way, I bought my first house in the early 80s and I was at 14.5%. Felt happy to have that. Interest rates are I'm going to talk about interest rates a little bit more in a bit, and interest rates are going to rise. It's going to have an impact on our market. But when you kind of look at it in context, I mean, this is what a great time to borrow money. Impact of investors. So in 2021, nearly 1 in 5 homes in America was bought by an investor. It's part of the reason. It's part of putting a squeeze on the market. And I'm going to talk a little bit in a minute about why we're seeing all this investor activity. But keep in mind that these investors, a good portion of them, are buying up single family inventory and turning them into rental properties, which has a kind of a negative impact on particularly first time home buyers or people that are at the bottom of the market because they're competing for the same houses. This is probably the most striking graph, is the demand for second homes. And there's 2 kinds of second homes that we're seeing in the market. There's the vacation properties, right? I live in New Jersey or I live in Orlando and I want a place in Flagler Beach or New Smyrna Beach to go hang out in. And the other is the people that are living in densely populated areas that COVID made them want to get out of the density. And our friends over at Altos Research actually coined a phrase for that. They call it a second primary residence. They didn't sell their first primary residence, they just bought a second. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the price fluctuation based on different quartiles. They've actually got 5 categories here, so it's not really quartiles, but in any event, most affordable homes, mid-priced homes, expensive homes, and luxury homes. And they all kind of track each other, but not exactly. And keep in mind, we're not looking at price, we're looking at percentage change of price. So luxury properties saw the greatest year-over-year growth in the middle of the year here at 26%. All right, so we look at all that, and here are my predictions for 2022. I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but I've been in this business for a while. I've been through some ups and downs, and this is what I am seeing happening, and it's based on my outlook for the market that determines how I'm going to position myself and the company, and I'm sharing it with you because I think it would be wise for you all to consider positioning yourself in it with similar thoughts in mind. The first thing that I think we can expect is that the first half of 2022 is going to remain really hot. Not just going to turn faucets off on January 1st. We will see an increase in inventory in January because we always do. People don't typically put their house on the market 2 weeks before Christmas. They wait until after the holiday, and that's when, as a pretty strong listing agent in early January, I know my phone's going to start ringing and I'm going to start listing properties. The second thing is we're already seeing high core inflation, and I believe that's going to translate into real estate. And even if the market slows down, in terms of volume, I still think we're going to see rising prices. There's still not enough inventory, and the cost of materials, everything, the value of the dollar, it all leads towards rising prices. And then we talked about interest rates. I believe interest rates are going to cause the market to shift in terms of its complexion, and we need to think about how that impacts our real estate businesses. So let's talk a little bit more about inflation. So number one, if prices are going to continue to rise, the longer buyers wait on the sideline, the less home they're going to get for their money. That's just basic common sense. The second is real estate is a hedge against inflation. That's why there's so much investor demand for real estate right now. And number three, inflation necessarily means mortgage rates have to rise. And in a most simplistic way, here's my rationale behind that. First of all, the Fed wants to raise interest rates to slow down the speed of the economy and the market, keep it from overheating. But secondly, when banks lend money today and inflation erodes the value of the dollar, when they get paid back, they're getting paid back with less valuable dollars. So the only way that they can compensate for that is to raise the interest rate that they charge so that they get more dollars. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So how's interest rate and inflation going to affect what we're experiencing in the market? First of all, entry-level buyers are going to lose purchasing power. That could potentially slow the least expensive segment of the market. And when I say slow, I don't mean it's going to reverse it, but you'll see not as much price appreciation in entry-level homes as you might in some others. So that's my next point is higher price properties, particularly luxury properties, are not going to be affected in the same way because high net worth households are not as sensitive to interest rates. And they likely have a lot more assets in the equity markets and they've made a lot of money. So they have the ability to easily go ahead and purchase a luxury property if they want it. Now, having said that, I think we should feel blessed to be living in Florida. I believe that Florida is going to outperform some of the other regions in the country because we have retirees coming down with their life savings, with the equity in the house that they sold up north, and they're going to be able to purchase homes for cash or with a lot of cash in the transaction. And and that's going to buoy the lower prices in our market. And I think that the inventory is going to, this investor looking for real estate is going to continue to be a phenomenon going into 2022. Kim, you look like you were going to say something.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. All right. So what's your game plan for 2022? The first thing is, right now, don't take your foot off the gas. I know we've been working really hard. It's been a crazy year. You're all tired, but make it while you can. For those of you that haven't been in the market for a very long time, I don't think you realize how unique a set of scenario that we're in, and how much opportunity there is in the market right now. And your opportunity to make money right now really can be life-changing. And it's not going to last. So take advantage of it while you can. This is not the time to just kind of roll. You're not at cruising altitude now. You're on the backstretch and you got to really be flying. At the same time, as we're starting to look at the second half of this year, we need to understand that there's going to be some rotation in the market. And Wayne Gretzky's famous reply to why was he such a good hockey player is because he would say, I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where it's going. So be thinking about what is the second half of 2022 going to look like, and how can I position myself to take advantage of it? And in that regard, you might think about, based on some of the information I shared with you, you might think about, well, what can I do to position myself to work at a higher price point than I'm working at now? What could I do to increase my exposure to investors who might be multiple purchasers? Somebody might look at this and say, all these investors are going to need property managers. And that could be a game plan for somebody. And in looking at investors, and particularly looking at income properties, I think you really want to focus. I think a strong focus could be vacation properties. You look at a place like Flagler Beach, where you need a business license to be able to do Airbnb. If you made a strategic plan to identify all the people that have those licenses and tell them what the value of their home is and get some of those people to cash out, and you own those listings, that would be a really valuable niche, which leads to, I'm going to jump past talking to your customers, I'm going to jump down to being intentional about your listing strategy. The truth of the matter is, and this is true in any market, in my opinion, listing agents control the market. So if you want to be in charge, you want to be a listing agent. Not to mention the fact that there is a lot less time involved in listing a property than there is in helping a buyer find a property. So be very intentional about creating a listing strategy. Working on income properties or vacation rentals or geographic farming are all strategies that you can use to build your listing inventory and define what type of agent you're going to be and who your ultimate customer is going to be. The last thing I would say is, and I'll make all these slides available to you, tell this story. How much more of an expert in real estate do you sound like when you're telling your customers what your outlook of the market is for 2022? You're taking this data from 2021, you're showing them the trends, you're definitely conveying the message that I'm a real estate professional paying attention to what's going on. I can best position you to take advantage of this market in 2022. I don't have a crystal ball, but here's what I think's happening, and here's why. Make sense? All right. I'm going to change subjects here.
Kendall,
Yes, go ahead.
before you change subjects, I'm meeting some clients in the office tomorrow at 11. I'm trying to get them to put their house on the market before the holidays are over, because in one of the previous meetings you said, number one, the pictures look better. I agree with the Christmas decorations. And the buyers are very serious right now. So I could you email me that one chart that showed, I can't remember what the name of it was, but
Yeah, I can, but I'll email it all to you. But I just want to clarify what you heard, because I don't think what you heard is consistent exactly with what I said. Homes typically show nice during the holidays because people decorate and they clean. And I also do think that people are more emotionally connected to home and family during the holidays, right? So I think there's some benefit. What I did was I had done for those of you who weren't on the call, a 5, 6, 7, I can't even remember, reasons to list your home during the holidays. Having said that, I'm not a big fan of a lot of holiday decorations in your marketing photography. You're not selling the decorations, you're selling the house, number one. Number two, you're trying to appeal to people from different faiths. And number three, if there is a lot of holiday decoration in there, you better be prepared in January to send your photographer back in there and take a new set of photographs, because it's going to do is look like the house has stayed on the market for a long time. Does that make sense?
yes, but I don't think it's going to stay on the market that long.
Okay. Well, but if it does, just be prepared for a second suit of photography. All right, let me go back to sharing here. All right. It is my intention for 2022 to retire our communication on band and replace it with BHG Connect. We now have our own company channel, and because more than 70% of our agents now have downloaded the app. But anyway, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I am making this change, if I can get my slides to advance. First of all, Band recently sent me their updated privacy policy, and I have to tell you, it's very intrusive, and I'm quite frankly not that comfortable with the way that they're selling our information. Second reason is, frankly, from our standpoint here as managers of the company, the administration is easier. Y'all don't have any reason to have an appreciation for the number of things that we have to do to onboard a new agent, or if an agent leaves the business, to remove them from some of our internal communications. This greatly streamlines that activity. The next reason is that when we first launched Band and when we opened up the New Smyrna office, some of the agents there at the time wanted their own channel. And so we're running 2 concurrent channels. So when you're posting on Band and you think you're posting to the whole company, you're really not. There's some people that are not seeing that. The reason that they wanted their own channel down there was because there's a lot of noise associated with Band, right? Because somebody will post something and then, the next thing somebody responds, and the next thing you know, it turns into a group text and your phone is bing, 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 bing. And it's a little too much. And when that happens, you just tune it out. And so then the message doesn't get delivered. So what I'd rather do is get everybody on one channel and have less noise. One of the couple ways that you'll experience less noise is, number one, On Band, if somebody posts and somebody else replies, you hear them both. In Connect, you're only going to continue to get notifications on things that you commented. So if Kim writes something on Band, hey, I've got this, I'm looking for furniture for one of my listings, and I don't reply to that, I'm not going to see everybody else's reply unless I go into the post. If I reply, indicating that I'm interested in the conversation, then I'll hear the other replies. If it starts to turn into, just kind of banter and I've had enough and I don't want that, I can write in one of the messages, say, stop listening to this thread. So you're gonna have a lot more control over what you hear and don't hear. And then lastly, all of your Better Homes and Gardens communication will be in one place. So if you elect to, say, go to Fusion, and so there is a channel that is specifically talking about the events that are going to happen in Fusion, you're going to see it in the app. You're not going to have to jump from Band to Connect to do that. So I just think it's going to be better overall for the company. So if you've not been using Connect and you don't know how to get there, you can get there through the greenhouse. You'll click on Communications and PR. That'll open up a submenu, and there's BHGRE Connect. It'll take you to this page, and you can click on the login button. Once you've logged in on your browser, you stay logged in. You don't have to come in through the greenhouse every time. If you reset your cookies or restart your computer, you might have to go in the first time. But I rarely ever find myself having to log in again. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Also, there is an app in your app store. The search to just put in BHGRE Connect and the app will show up. You'll log in on your phone the first time using your greenhouse credentials, and you will remain logged in.
Made everybody cringe by saying greenhouse credentials.
I know.
Well, I've done it. I don't remember that, but I guess I did. I guess I am.
So, so this is my computer version of Connect, and I'm just going to go to the home page. So now I have a lot of rooms, right? Because I have broker manager rooms and marketing leaders, and I've got pretty much everything turned on. MoxieWorks Early Access. I got a bunch of stuff there. Your list of rooms is not going to be as cluttered as mine is, but I'll just take it down to the bottom. Here's our BHG Synergy room. Now, right now, there have not been any posts. The posts are searchable. You can tag specific people if you want to. You can actually even send a message to a particular member. So if you click on the member tab over here, here's everybody in the company, because it pulls it right out of our Dash program. So this is always an up-to-date list of all our folks. So when you post to the room, you're posting to all of the members, and they will hear it based on how they've set up their notifications. If I wanted to send a message directly to somebody, I can do that. Here's all of Kim's contact information, her email, her phone number, and if I want to send her a direct message, I can do that up here at the top. So it's pretty user friendly. And then the last thing I'm going to just show you on here too.
So Ken,
yes.
Who's the person like 3 people below you? Eileen Kovani, who's the owner?
Yeah. So she's my business consultant with the brand.
Oh, okay. So ours wouldn't look like
So
that.
it says owner because she created this room for us.
Okay.
The person who creates the room is the owner. Her room, she goes by Dawn. Dawn is never she's not gonna post to this room. She just created the room. Yeah, so the last thing I was gonna show you is up by your profile. You can see, you can control your subscriptions, and you can control how you receive your notifications. So it's very user friendly, and you can design it to fit what your workflow looks like. So I expect I'd like to see you all over the next couple of weeks here, start doing when you want to post to band, come and post here instead. Get you all used to using this tool, and then in early January, I'm going to just turn off band so you won't be able to post there anymore. Oh, that's all I got. Anybody have anything you want to talk about? I hear nothing but silence and a phone ringing. So,
I guess,
Kim's got
can I just ask in general? I think, I don't know, I'm hearing it a lot, but I don't see it. I have a nephew that's in appraisal business. You're not using the foreclosure word at all. Do you have any predictions on foreclosures? Do you have any predictions on, I mean, he's telling me there's hundreds jumping into the market every week, and I don't see it.
No, I don't either. So there were certainly people, by the way, I didn't even discuss this in kind of talking about the economy. When you watch the news, they talk about how there were not as many jobs as they anticipated. Except everybody has a help wanted sign up. It's not that there aren't more employed people, it's that the people don't want the jobs, right?
Yeah.
So when people run out of their stimulus money or however else they're taking care of themselves, they're going to go start to fill some of those jobs. Not that there's lack of opportunity, plenty of opportunity. There were certainly people, especially in the service, industries, that lost a lot of income, and they may have put their home in forbearance, which means, for anybody who doesn't know, when you put your house in forbearance, it means I don't make my mortgage payments for a period of time. And they basically just add those payments to the back end of the loan. They can be done in different ways. Sometimes you get some interest forgiveness, sometimes you don't. And a lot of those forbearance periods are ending, but over the course of the last 2 years, the value of their house has gone up 40%. So, all right, maybe some people will be in a position where they can't make the mortgage payments, and they'll be in a forced sale situation, but it's not going to be a foreclosure or a short sale because they have equity.
Right.
And they're going to be thinking asset protection, right?
Mhm.
And they're going to sell that, create inventory for the market, which is an opportunity for you as a real estate professional, and then they just start their life over. In fact, and Cheryl Edwards, you'll be interested in this. That's clearly that there's somebody that came to look at my condo in New Smyrna yesterday. I took her to show it last night, and that's clearly her situation. She's got a big house in Edgewater. She's selling that. She's got a lot of equity, and she's going to potentially move in. She's going to move into a apartment. I don't know if it's going to be mine yet. And she's sitting there saying, I'm going to have this big windfall from my house. So is it okay if I prepay my rent for 6 months? So anyway, I don't see that happening for that reason.
Okay.
I have a question about foreclosures as well. I'm sure everybody else has gotten these emails to join and take seminars on how to be a foreclosure specialist. And has anybody responded to those? And do you have any insight?
Yeah, and how much are they charging for the course?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, there was a scam going around during the Great Recession, that where company would come to you and say, we need broker price opinions for your area, right? And they'd have you take they charge you like $300 to take a course on how to do broker price opinions. And then they'd say, then we'll put you on our list, and we'll be sending you assignments, and we pay $40 an assignment. And agents were saying, I'm not selling anything. I need to generate some income so I can pay my rent or my mortgage, and they'd sign up for this. And what the company would do is after you complete the course, you get an assignment. You go and you do a BPO, and then you never hear from them again. So you paid $400 for the course, you got $40 for doing a BPO, you're out $360. And I suspect a lot of that is starting to happen again. And in particular, I was doing some research for another project that I'm working on. The Flagler County Association of Realtors membership is over 1,900 people now. NAR's membership has never been higher in its history. And I don't know exactly what the number is, but if we were to look at the inventory in the Flagler Realtor Association, there's probably 400 homes for sale, maybe less. So where are all these people making their money? So when they get that thing in the mailbox that says, I can turn you into a foreclosure expert, and this person's 3 months into business, what am I going to do? That's appealing to them. And they, there's a lot of squirrels in this business. They take your credit card out and they buy hope. And actually the project that I'm working on, just in case anybody's interested, is I'm going to write a series of mini books for new agents, right? So, my first day in real estate, what do I do, right? And then build off of that, create a series, and I'm hoping to publish it on Kindle.
Well, as I said that, stuck in my email this morning from Florida Realtors, no foreclosure wave on the horizon of the at-risk homeowners leaving forbearance. 73% have at least 20% equity, and 28% have at least 50%.
There you go, and I didn't even read that.
They may sell, but they can avoid foreclosure. Yeah, there's no wave. There's no wave coming.
And by the way, here's the other thing. I think that people, not just in real estate, in all aspects of life, these talking heads want to be, they're motivated to make these dire predictions. Because in the 1 in 100 chance that they're right, they're famous for it. If they're wrong, everybody forgets they ever said it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think that you need to do is when somebody makes a prediction and tells you that the sky is falling, say, what's your track record for making those decisions? What other predictions have they made, and have they been right? Because I just think I was listening to a Brian Buffini tape not too long ago, and he used sports as an analogy. There's like 10 times the number of reporters, commentators, talking about football than there are actual football players. And so they all have to come up with something to cut through the noise, and making kind of silly predictions or wild predictions is one of the ways that they do it. All right.
So while we were talking about that, I tried to get on this Connect, and so we're supposed to be using our BHGRE email.
Yeah.
And, well, it's not working. I'm supposed to call IT.
That's what mine said too.
So-
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
You're trying to use the app?
Yeah.
Yeah, the app.
Yeah. Okay. So
Try going in on your desktop first, or your laptop.
yeah, I don't know if going in on your desktop will work. I mean, it'll get you into the computer version. I don't know if that's going to automatically log you into the app.
Yeah, it doesn't. So,
But
I'll
look,
just have
that's why I'm
call
going to give you
IT.
all a couple weeks. I know, it doesn't, it's not just this platform, every friggin' platform. If you talk to anybody, even Amazon, and you say, if you ask what their number one question that they get in the help center is, how do I log in?
Yeah. Okay. We'll
Anybody
get
else?
there.
So next Wednesday is the 22nd of December. Do you want to have a call or do you want me to give you the morning off?
Doesn't matter to me. I'll be here.
All right. I'll try and plan something fun.
There we go.
Okay, well, if nobody else has anything else you want to talk about, we are done for this morning.
Have a good day.
All right, take care.